Holy hell. There we go. Wow. Boomer time. Hello, welcome back. This is episode 2 of the Late Night Roast afternoon edition. And I'm glad I was able to mute myself for everyone because you know what? We got to keep the entertainment rolling. What's up, fuckers? That's right. I made it. I made 205. So we're good. We didn't have to worry about streaming, but for swearing. But yes, this is the afternoon edition of the Late Night Roast. Usually we do this at 9 p.m. Mountain Time, which is about 11 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's usually a late night, but we decided to do it in the afternoon today because I was under the weather yesterday. And I'm actually glad I waited because there's been a lot of stuff like popping up in the news. And I just need a little extra time, but I'm feeling much better today. Hello and welcome, chat. How's it going? Let me pull this over here and put you over there. How is everyone doing today? I appreciate you coming in. Time is just a man-made concept. Absolutely. Lots of good stuff in the news, and lots of stuff I guess we could roast because I don't know, man. There's so much chaos and stupidity out there that I can't. I don't mean to sound like a basic white girl, but like I literally can't even sometimes. That's it. I just can't even. And really to let's see if I can find it. Where is it? Here it is. We're just gonna, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but in today's shit we didn't ask for, Joe Russo says the live-action Hercules remake will pay homage to the original with a more modern spin on it. No thanks. We'll pass. Hard pass. Hard pass. No one asked for it. No one cares. No one wants a modern spin on an already great story. There's no reason to do it. Honestly, I can't even think of what was wrong with this movie at the time. I watched this movie probably 100 times when I was growing up. And what modern spin do we need to put on there? Oh, I know. Hercules is a woman. You have some beta male that she rescues. And right? I think that's the whole story. We gender swap them. It's some scrawny little guy plays the part of Meg, and then you have Hercules with this big buff fucking woman because you couldn't possibly make like a good like feminine woman. You gotta emasculate the woman and make her look like a man, but just that's the only empowerment that we have, right? Like what a waste of time. What a waste of time. And you don't, to be fair, I think a live action Hercules would do better than like the live action Aladdin. If they did it properly, right? If it was a faithful adaptation or whatever, or remake. Again, it's another one of these like stupid, like this is our truth. This is our version of it. Like, yeah, it's a completely different story. Just make up a new story about a really strong woman who saves a frail little guy and then gives up the power in order for them to be together. And like, oh my God. It's really, let's see. Space Zombie has the answer. What was wrong with it, Shags? Is it not obvious? Hercules is really this weak-minded himbo, and Meg was the brains behind it all that instructed the boyo. But he took all the credit for it anyway. Hey, man. But there we go. Boom. No one asked for this. No one wants it. Please leave it alone. We don't need it. We don't need it. Oh, there's no, yeah, there is no real, there is no your truth. There's just truth. I mean, to be fair, like we all have our experiences and everything, but reality is reality. There's no changing what reality is. We all experience things different, so we draw different conclusions based on that. But beyond that, that's it. So keeping it going with like the real comedy and everything. I haven't watched the special yet, but Bill Burr is one of my favorite comics of all time. I think he just has a handle on things. I think for someone who's like essentially a normie, like he gets it. He gets it. He's got his finger on the pulse. And he said he said this about the WNBA, and I have to share it because it was just chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. It's kind of hard to see, but so the mass formation bald privilege tweet put up, and his tweet was Bill swishing from half court. Look at the WNBA. They have been playing in front of 300 to 400 people a night for a quarter century. Not to mention, it's a male subsidized league. We gave you a league and none of you showed up. We're all the feminists. That place should be packed with feminists, faces painted, wearing jersey, going effing nuts like the guys do. None of you went to the fucking games. You failed. Not me. Not men. Women failed the WNBA. Ladies, name your top 5 WNBA players of all time. Name 5 WNBA teams. Name the WNBA team in your city. You can't do it. Don't give a fuck about them. Bro, this guy is just, he just gets it, man. Like this, and he had a really good bit on his, he has a new special out on Netflix. I think it's Live at Red Rocks, which is actually not too far from where I live. But in it, he talks about abortion. And he talks about abortion, and like, of course, you know, he's one of those people that, like, I can't really tell where he stands, like, politically. In his special, he kind of comes off more of a conservative. I mean, he seems more like libertarian type. Like, he doesn't really care, but he just wants people to live their lives and be cool. But he really poked fun at it, how people sort of define abortion and all that. And he's like, you go into the clinic and you have a baby, and then when you come out, you don't have one. So he's like, so what are people saying? Like, it's not a baby. Like, that's the only reason. It's the only reason you go into that clinic. It's the only reason you do what you do is because you are potentially going to have a human life. So you go in there with one, you come out, you don't have one. And I thought, this guy is brilliant, but he didn't stop there, because he's like, well, then all people come in. It's like, it's not a life yet, Bill. It's not a life yet. He's like, he goes, and that's like if I go in somewhere, or I'm baking a cake and I put the batter in the bottom of the pan, slide it in the oven, and then 20 minutes later, you come out, take the pan out and throw it across the floor. And you go, what the hell? Why'd you do that to my cake? And someone goes, well, it's not a cake yet. It's like, but that's the point. It's going to be a cake. That's why I'm making it. Like, guy is so based, man. He's so good. He's so good. We live in a world too, like, and he's right on the money with the WNBA stuff. Like, it's not like it's something in the cultural zeitgeist right now, but people talk all the time about income equality and why aren't people going to WNBA? Why aren't they getting paid more? And like, the long and the short of it is that people just don't support it. There's not enough interest in it. Sure, they have games, they have teams. There's really great, female athletes that are out there, doing it, but no one goes to watch the games. You look at a WNBA game on TV, if they happen to be on TV, and the stands are empty. No one's there supporting them. No one. It's, I don't want these things. I don't want these institutions to fail. I don't want women's sports to fail, but like, you can't talk equality with sports and like, why aren't people supporting and why aren't they getting paid more? It's like, because no one's going. Where would you like to pull money from? I mean, I suppose we could make like the US government just print money and just give it to people. It's just, there's just, I mean, I shared that because it's funny, and I really like Bill Burr. I usually cry laughing when I watch his specials. It's just too damn good. Too damn good. Sergeant Herb says, actually, a perfect analogy. Exactly why people say a bun in the oven when a woman is pregnant. Right. Because it's going to be a child. It's going to be a baby. Everyone knows that. And now there's actually some, this is actually a good segue into the next thing that I want to share with you guys. And that's not that link. Certainly not that link. Let's get to it. So from the RNC Research Twitter account, Democrat Representative Kathleen Rice insists we need to stop using the word abortion when talking about abortion because it raises negative emotions. And that may be the case, but let's hear what she has to say about it. I actually haven't listened to this, but the headline caught my ear, and I want to make sure I hear her and you guys hear her correctly.
And all I hear is a bunch of conversations where the word abortion is meant as a negative term. And, Dr. Francis, you just said that one of the benefits of Roe, in your mind,
the word abortion is used as a negative thing. So, and again, this to me is why a lot of where the argument starts is, where does life begin? We talked about this last week. Where does life begin? And for people who understand the value of life or want to value life a lot more, it starts really, really early on. So the idea of abortion is inherently wrong. And that's why it might have a negative connotation. And I think it's a hard thing to escape. Like there's very few things in the world that, and this, again, it goes back to, it depends on how you define where life begins, and also how you lose your train of thought. That's the one right there. So it raises negative emotions because some people really, really value life and they don't want it to end, regardless of how the life was conceived. That's a hard pill for people to swallow, and it's a hard conversation to have. But for those who value life at the very, very earliest stages, it's not. That's why it has a negative connotation to us.
Is that we can now have a robust conversation about this issue. I would suggest that you stop throwing the word abortion around because you think it's one that is going to raise the emotions above having a reasonable conversation.
No, this is how you have a reasonable conversation. Let me say it for the idiots in the back. You use the term properly in order to have the conversation about it. There's not a negative connotation to the word abortion. Pardon me. In order to have proper dialogue on these things, you just need to be able to call it how it is. Now, someone could definitely use it in a way that may hurt someone's feelings, or they might be a little scathing with their arguments. It doesn't change the meaning of the word. I want to know exactly what someone means when they say abortion, or when someone says reproductive rights. There's two different things happening here, right? For a rational person, or for someone who, I don't know, maybe of sounder mind, when they hear the word or the phrase reproductive rights, their mind shouldn't automatically go to abortion. Like reproductive rights assumes that there is some reproducing happening. With abortion, there's no reproducing happening. There was the start of reproduction, but it ended. And so reproduction assumes that there is a small child, or, there is a life that will become a small child, one that will eventually become independent of its mother. That's how we reproduce. When you end a life, that is That is not reproduction. That is abortion. So in order to have the proper conversation, you need to call it what it is.
In a word that has been weaponized, in my opinion, by certain people in this country. Because if we're going to have a real conversation about this, we have to stop using language that is, going to prevent an actual meaningful conversation.
It's inconvenient for you, you dumb bitch. It's inconvenient for these people because it doesn't allow them to push a narrative that you can kill children whenever you want. It's inconvenient for them, and that's why they don't like it. There's not any negative connotation behind it. We're trying to have an honest conversation about what people are doing with their bodies. Imagine. These people are evil, man. They don't want you to be honest. And I'm sure I don't know if you guys remember, but years ago, Carlin had a huge bit, George Carlin had a huge bit about like how language has been like sanitized over the years. Like he took PTSD for example. Like back in the day, it was called shell shock. And over the years, and then it was then it became like operational exhaustion, and then it became like post-traumatic stress disorder. He's like everything, he's like the meaning is lost under jargon. Like there's so many words in there that the real meaning and like loss in your brain and your emotional state is gone. You just totally squeeze it out of there. But, and again, it might be like what he said is a little extreme, but if you really understand what he's saying is sometimes the purest form of these words helps in aiding those who really need it most. You understand the actual threat of PTSD to someone in their mental state. God, these people are fucking insufferable, man. They're so, apologize for swearing. They make my blood boil. Like when they don't want to actually, when they don't want to be intellectually honest, they do stuff like this. And I can't stand it. Can't stand it, y'all. What do we got next? What do we got? Today, this week has been interesting for me because I felt like there was nothing going on in the news really. And then all of a sudden a bunch of shit popped up. And I'm saving some stuff for tonight. You guys know Wednesdays are the midweek hump. And at night we talk a lot of about a lot of other stuff. And I want to get the panel's discussion on it. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to totally blow the load now because later on we have a great show. And if you don't know, tonight on the midweek hump, we have Abomination AJ and Comics Division joining us at 9 p.m. Mountain Time right here on this channel. So if you aren't following or if you're not subscribed and you're just kind of peeking in, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and the notification bell. You want all notifications. You want to know when videos drop. You want to know when the live streams drop. And of course, join the Discord. We have my Discord server is totally open. If you guys want to be a part of it, head over in there. I have some community live streams that are going to be happening. We're going to start with once a month for our Ko-Fi memberships. Again, that link is down below. If you guys want to join the Ko-Fi family, you will absolutely. Those people who subscribed, I think I had still at the lowest tier and up, will be able to be a part of those live streams if you would like. I really like to get community input and just involve everyone when I can. But yeah, that's my little interim thing. But that's that. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for joining the show. This week, so there was some protesting at the Supreme Court, and our lovely group of politicians known as the Squad showed up, and they were allegedly arrested for their participation in this. The news ran with the story that they had been arrested, but the truth is a little different. And it's funny because they think it's funny. They think it's funny. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, thick mommy, she's smiling as she's escorted away with her hands behind her back. She's not arrested. No one arrested them. She puts her hands behind her back, makes it look like she's being arrested. She knows what she's doing. Again, this is political theater by people who think you're a moron. These people do not respect you in any sort of way. They're here to push their own agendas at the cost of your happiness and livelihood. And they think it's funny. So she's over here. She's over here lying to you in the best way she possibly can. And this is even funnier. Cori Bush also tweeted out, where is it? Oh my God, I can't do it. I'm boomering. Cori Bush also tweeted out with this picture. There's the squad, right? That's the squad. The Supreme Court will not stop us. Even though they arrested us, we won't stop our organizing, agitating, and legislating for justice. We got us. Okay. What do you guys understand? These 5 individuals have not done anything in their time in representing. What exactly have they done? I'll give AOC a little credit. She penned the Green New Deal. Good job. Total pile of dog shit, but at least she did something, right? Nothing that she's done has had any effect on her constituents. She constantly makes a fool of herself. Her little publicity stunts. And nobody got arrested. Nobody got arrested. There's a big difference between getting arrested and getting detained and escorted away. These people are pretenders. They don't care about you. They care what they can suck away from you for the sake of partisan politics. That's it. That's it. Anyone who follows them, they're a bunch of morons. Don't fall for their tricks. It's just stupid. These people what they want to do is they want to compartmentalize you, and they want to put you into a small little box that you can't escape from unless they say so. Right? It's where you get the whole, like, you're not black, you're not part of our group. If you don't fall in line with what they want, you're out. See ya. Yeah, she blocked Amazon from getting a factory built. Like 20,000 jobs. And she said, nah. All the while, I'm sure buying plenty of products off of Amazon. If you think for 1 second that someone like AOC is not buying products off of Amazon, you're fucking high. You're high. These people support Amazon plenty. And matter of fact, wasn't she on Twitch? Wasn't she on Twitch with that fucking shill? What's his name? Hassan Picker? Is that a name? So she's going to block building a factory and supporting her local jobs. But she said no problem getting in with an affiliate of Amazon and making them money. Yeah, she's a fucking asshole. Playing Among Us. Of all games, they're playing Among Us. Not sus at all. Not sus at all. Oh, Voss on that stream too? Good Lord. These people are very much against you. They don't care for your well-being. They care for themselves, for sure. They care about making political statements for clout. I think yeah, Trey had mentioned that. They have done things, but it's only for clout and to support the regime. Absolutely. They don't care. At Amazon HQ, right. It's too bad. It's too bad. There's a lot of good people that needed jobs, and she just said, "Nah, we're good." There's another really good tweet that is actually shared. Trey is awesome, by the way. Should follow him on Twitter. Trey likes to send me these awesome tweets, and it gives me lots of brain candy and some topics usually to talk about. I'm sure he notices that these things pop up as topics on my show. So, want to draw this to everyone's attention because in case you didn't know, the World Economic Forum is happening, and there's a lot of people who just don't really care to see you live any longer. So let's take a look at that so you guys are aware. Pardon me. Neo-establishment's a really good way of putting it. Absolutely. So from a Lilybit on Twitter, we have this video of Jane Goodall in Davos talking.
We cannot hide away from human population growth because, which
has been on the decline, by the way. It's been on the decline.
You know,
our rather population rates have been on the decline. We are not in right now we are in a downward trend, not in an upward trend. We're not having enough births to replace the population.
Lies so many of the other problems. All these things we talk about wouldn't be a problem if there was the size of population that there was 500 years ago.
If only we could return to 500 years ago, the planet would be fine.
We cannot hide away from human population growth because, you know, it underlies so many of the other problems. All these things we talk about wouldn't be a problem if there was the size of population that there was 500 years ago.
Which was like I think in the it shows that our population has grown exponentially since that point. Again, these are people talking about, you know, things that would possibly help the world in general. You know, the World Economic Forum is a huge conference. And this lady's sitting up there saying, we should consider that we have way too many people. Yeah, birth rates are slowing. But no sweat off her ass because she's almost dead. No sweat off her ass. She's fine. I'll be dead and, you know, you guys can do whatever you want after that. Great. It's not something like, you know, when people take other people's lives so lightly, you need to be concerned. Again, people like AOC who just sort of say things to say them because they think it's trendy and cool. They're not here to help the common man. They're not here to help you and I. And then you have this lady sitting there and saying, we need to return to when we weren't so populated. I'm sorry, that's not really something that we can do. And to think that it is possible or even humane to do so is even more concerning. Mike Bad has knees. This is Gaia worship that they're finally letting us know publicly more and more. Yeah, man. And it's in all facets. It's in all facets of like politics now. You look at someone like Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is like openly insider trading. She's openly doing it, not even trying to hide it, and nobody says anything about it. Nobody. No one's talking about it. They're pissing in your face and calling it piss, and we are begging for more. People, not us. People here in this chat watching this video are probably awake enough to realize that this is why we speak up on this crap, is because we're sick of being treated like morons. And we oh man. This should scare everyone. Like, it should shake you to the core. Trey 50 Daniel says that's why even if you hate Trump, you see him hugging common people and you can tell it genuinely makes him happy. Yeah, I mean, Trump has his faults for sure. He he is not perfect by any stretch, and he's done his deals. But I when I see him with the common man or woman, like it's clear to me that he does care. It's clear, like he's just extremely flawed. But I don't like I appreciate someone like him more than I do like these people who pretend. They're pretenders who stand up there and like just they're sort of reading off the same cue cards. You guys have seen that that supercut of all those news channels saying the same thing from the same media companies. Like that's exactly what I think of when most of these politicians like stand out and they get arrested while they're protesting. Or they go on social media and try and rally their base. Yeah, at the very least, you have someone who's honest. Again, Trump is an extremely flawed person, but he's honest to a fault. But he represents like people in general a lot better than all of the people in Washington. Most of the people in Washington. And that's a hard pill for people to swallow, but it's the goddamn truth, man. It's the truth. More people act like Trump than they do like any of the squad members, man. Right. That's a good way of putting it. Like he might not be honest, but he's transparent. And again, I think people are like that. Again, I think people are more like Trump than they are like many of the other politicians out there. Again, who pretend to be, anti-racist and all that crap. And actually, it's funny enough. I saw the other day. I was in Target, and on their big TVs in the back, above all of like the screens, it might have been just like on the screens, but above like the kids' book section, you had this whole advertisement come up for Ibram X. Kendi and his anti-racist baby book and stuff like that. Whole thing, not the whole store, but if you were standing in that back aisle, you heard everything that guy said. And they paid that man, that racist idiot, as like some messiah from beyond that's trying to teach people how to not be racist. Like, no, he's teaching people how to be racist. Like by definition. But yeah, quite a so this was a scary bit of news, and I'll probably talk about it more tonight. On the midweek hump. So Rachel Chung reported about, and this is from Vice, and I don't particularly care for Vice, but even still, it was a really sort of eye-opening thing happening. Scanning the internet for memes, satirical video, and negative comments about the Chinese president, content moderators of Zhao Hongshu identified 564 nicknames within 2 months in 2020 and preemptively censored them from the platform. And she does go on to say that the 143-page leak document showed the app isn't just keeping an eye on the content shared on its own platform, but it also actively monitors the news to stay one step ahead of the discourse and develop strategies to stop sensitive topics from being spread on their site. Does this seem familiar? Like what else? What other site has been known to do such a thing? This is happening in China. And we all know what happened in 2020. And even pre-2020 with the election. All right. Is that right? No, 2020. The election, the unknown virus of unknown origin. All of these things were if people did not subscribe to a certain groupthink, they were banned and told they you couldn't talk about it. And this is embarrassing, but I have to pause real quick and use the little girl's room. I'll be right back, folks. Be right back. I can't believe this.
He just left y'all there with no entertainment, not even any kind of music. This dude does not care. He knew better. He knew better. Where's the BRB screen? Ah, where'd it go? Where'd it go? How dare he not? It's only been online for 35 minutes and this dude just left. Now there's got to be some kind of entertainment to the masses, and this dude just left. This dude, just go.
What just happened? The most embarrassing thing possible that could ever happen to me is that I had to use the bathroom midway through everything. So sorry about that, y'all. Where was I? So basically, basically what's going on is the fact that we now have like quote unquote evidence that China was doing this, but also thanks, Rock. But also that it lends itself a bigger question as to why haven't we been talking about, or why haven't like these organizations like Vice talking about what's happened in the US over over the past couple of years? Because the same thing has been happening here. Because if you didn't subscribe, again, like I said before, like you didn't subscribe to a certain groupthink during these events that have occurred over the past couple of years, even small commentators were demonetized, or their videos were taken down, or strikes were put on their account. It didn't matter. And now there's like, this is what's happening in China. This is why people want to avoid. They want to avoid the CCP and how they're conducting themselves with their own people, because they're starting to see parallels here in the US. We have to be careful of what we're doing, when we're pushing for certain policies, because this is what you end up with. You end up with something like this, where they don't like what's being said. They're not going to allow you to say what you want to say against the government, so they censor you. They blackball you from certain platforms. And even worse is the news is trying to stay ahead of it, right? So they talk about in this article how they were looking at, they had all these names that they were censoring based on a list that they had provided. And then not only that, but they were getting secondary keywords that they were then using to find other things. And I think one of the bigger things I was drawing from this whole, or the conclusions I was coming to from this whole story, was how this affects how language changes, right? So they start looking at the words they know that are problematic for them. Then they start looking at related keywords that people are using. But what happens when they ban certain language? What happens when they ban certain language? People create ways of saying things without saying those words, right? You come up with this secondary language code that people use in order to get around that stuff. So they can stay ahead of the social media bans or shadow bans by making up words that looks very similar but are not that. And it's really, that's one of the big problems. Why you see a huge evolution in language too. And not to even talk about how they're just changing, how how progressives are changing language to sterilize really bad things, right? With like maps, that whole maps thing, like, let's not demonize, pedophiles. Let's get them the help they need. Like, yeah, inside of a jail cell. Be great. Right. True. It's this should concern everyone. When governments are actively working with companies to ban language and to silence people, that's when you have to start worrying. And it's slowly making its way into American politics. You have to understand that. It's been seeping into our culture for a couple years now. And that is a huge issue. Rock Reina asks, is language actually evolving? Seems language is used as a tool to repress nowadays. What I mean by evolving, I don't, it's not evolving it's probably devolving is more what I should say. Evolving suggests some progressive nature in, within making it better. I would say that it's devolving, and in ways it has, because of how, by nature of how we communicate. So we communicate very rapidly through text messaging, emails, all that stuff, live streams. So because of that, language devolves, because you need to find a quick way to answer or reply or be a part of the conversation. So long, drawn out, well thought out letters don't matter anymore. You need to be quick. And if you make a mistake, that doesn't matter either, because you can just quickly make a mistake. Or even now, like on something like Discord or Gilded, a lot of platforms, you can edit what you say right after you say it, which might be a little better, but still people don't quite think through everything before they hit the enter button. And again, because we have a need to say and speak quickly, we've had to find ways to talk fast. So language has devolved. So, and again, but even like this, what Trey said, language is evolving, but in a regressive manner. Take people of color, which can be the same as colored people, both of which are bad, right? And even more so, you also further dehumanize that by saying POC, right? Or BIPOC. So by saying that, you're totally removing any sort of humanity from it, because it's just a bunch of letters now. Yeah, it's something like "what up, cuz," which I do. I don't speak like that. Like, I don't introduce myself to someone and say "what up, cuz." I would obviously, here with you guys, people in my community, "what up, cuz? How's it?" But our language, part of there's a part of society that needs to lengthen itself again, and by that I mean the culture needs to take its time. And by virtue of technology and how quickly technology has advanced and given us ways to instantaneously talk to one another across endless borders, we don't know how to take our time anymore. And we can get anything whenever we want. Anytime that we need something, I can take out my phone and I can order it, and it'll be at my doorstep sometimes that day. And in groceries, Trey and I had a discussion about this on Twitter. You can order, if you don't even have to go inside of a grocery store anymore. All you do, you type in what you want, some asshole brings it to your car, and you fucking drive away. That's it. There are parts of society that I think that need to slow down. We need to learn how to be people again to one another. We need to reconnect on a human level. And part of it is language. But sterilizing language or devolving language is really, really, it's hurting people. Not hurting people, sorry. It's not hurting people. It's hurting the culture and how people connect with one another. Let me see. Trey said, I sound much more Southern talking to my dad, but I'm about a Yankee when I talk to some normies. Yeah. I hear that nice Southern twang when you and I talk. Commander Phil says, it definitely depends on the company I'm around. I'll break out the Toronto man slang around certain types and speak in proper grammatical sentences around others. Right. But I think like the way our culture has evolved is it just says just be as quick as possible. Like we don't really learn how to converse with people anymore. Like one of the biggest skills that my students don't have is how to look someone in the eye when they're talking. Boop. What they're unable to even say something good about themselves. Like, what are you good at? They have a really hard time answering this question. And I think, why? Why didn't someone teach them how to talk? Well, it's because most of the time you're buried in your phone. You're buried in their phone. There's no emotion involved with talking to someone online. Like, because most of us, like a lot of us, even still, we don't connect in a voice chat. Voice chat is good enough. But my God, like most people don't even do that. They'll sit in a chat room. Any chance you have to interact with another human being is really important to do. It's really important. Communication skills, which is not only communicating verbally, but also active listening. Active listening, being able to hear what someone's saying and not just responding to their words. Seth Trollin says, my language is weird. I just talk in wrestling terminology and fighting game slang. I might have a problem. Yeah, when people talk in like, oh God, what is that? Yeah, like video game slang. When people are using like code from like Among Us or something like that, I'm just like, come on now. Please don't do that. Every now and then I'll like, with my students, I'll mess around, just to show them I'm hip, cool. But, oh man. Where are we at? So this is a video I saw. I did not listen to it yet, but I wanted to listen to it with you guys because I love Alex Stein. I think he's hilarious. But so the title of the tweet, and some of you may have seen this. I have not yet fully watched it, but I was like, I'm going to save it for the show. We're all going to watch it together. Pro-abortion activists protest the overturning of Roe versus Wade to the Denton, Texas City Council. Let's see what he did here.
Alexandria Hayden.
Listen, counsel, with the overturning of Roe versus Wade, what is happening now is you are limiting what I can do with my vagina. First of all, you dictated where I could take a number 2. You try to tell me that
you can take a number 2.
I couldn't go in a woman's restroom. But now you have Governor Abbott saying that I can't have an abortion. I can have an abortion. You have to take your hands off my vagina right now. You do not own my uterus. The uterus is mine. It is a clump of cells in there. We need to take that clump of cells and destroy it like this paper. Just take the clump because it has no life. It has no meaning. That's what is inside my body. But Governor Abbott is trying to get inside here and trying to dictate what you're doing in my body. You don't know.
Everything about this is so great. This is so good, man. This is so good. Dude, he's like from his outfit to everything he's saying, man. It's so good. How are these people not laughing their ass off? I think this lady's laughing here, and most of these people are sitting there like, we should take this seriously. And he's right. He doesn't have access to his vagina. I can't believe that. Look at this guy right here. Oh my God. He's like, help me. I can't tell if he's laughing his ass off or just this guy. Oh my God. Oh my God, Alex Stein, you are the fucking man.
And you're trying to stop me. And you know what? I get raped all the time. I'm very
This guy's having a fucking panic attack right now. He has no idea what to do. He has retreated within himself. It doesn't know what's going on. No, but this is the kind of funny shit that people like. I love that he's doing this because this is how it all sounds. He sounds exactly the way a lot of these people sound on the internet. I am very sexy. I get art all the time. Like, whoa, dude. Oh my God. This guy is my hero. Like this is just, it would be more fun if he was doing this in front of Congress instead of a normie city council. Yeah, probably. Yeah. They won't let him in though. There's no way that he'd be able to get into something like that. But I like this because it's like two things. It's totally a comedy bit, but also bringing light to how ridiculous people look. This too. Look at this guy. He is just full retreat, panic mode. He doesn't know what to do. He's like someone get this guy a paper bag. And even she is just like, you're probably right, but I can't openly say that right now. Do this in San Fran Council? Oh, I know. He needs to. And this guy, I think he wants to laugh, but his girlfriend here is probably like, don't you fucking do it. I'll Will Smith your ass right here. Trey said, these normies don't really deserve it, in my opinion. Some farmer might be needing to petition for the government for something. This is true. God damn. Yeah, this was pretty funny. I didn't watch that before today, and I'm not going to watch the rest of it. There's still another minute left, and you can check it out on your own time. But Alex Stein is a hilarious individual. He just trolled AOC at the Capitol there. Rock says, I can imagine the guy with his head in his hands. It's like his first time in city council after watching Adam's show on Netflix. Yeah. Real Wade Nate says, what if there's a three-way blue shirt in the guy and gal? Could be. If they're wearing masks at this point in Texas, I'm guessing they're pretty left-wing. Yeah, you're probably right. Anyone at this point, it's interesting to see who's out wearing masks still, especially in my area. Like I live in Utah, so there's a lot of conservative people around here, and most people were done wearing masks, a year plus ago. But there's still people, even my kids, like they go to school with some people, and they're wearing masks, and whatever. I don't care what people do. You wear a mask all fucking day long if you want. You wear it while you're out for a run. I don't care. Don't tell me I got to wear, if I want to, cool. If I'm sick, sure. But even then, if I'm sick, I'm usually not going out of my house. I usually lock myself in my house and come down here and play video games with y'all. So that's that. No one wears masks here in Alabama unless they're actually sick. Right. And is there any other time to? Again, the stupid part is like everyone, this idea that no one had any idea how to take care of themselves while they're sick prior to 2020 is bonkers. It was the greatest and worst social experiment ever conducted by the power elites, and we all fell for it at some point or another. And some people still towing that line. In my opinion, that's what happened. And they're even and this is a good segue because I'm going to talk a little bit about the Resident Evil show because I got to roast that fucking show. Holy shit. But like they even in Resident Evil, they put a COVID joke. Like twice they mentioned COVID. Once, the guy says, oh, you have an infection or you're going to have to quarantine. And he goes, and the girl goes, oh, is it like COVID? And he goes, no, it's worse or something. And I just, oh my God. And then they bring it up again later on. She's like, is it worse than COVID? the T virus. Is it worse than COVID? Get out of here, man. The Resident Evil show, for those who haven't watched it or plan on watching it, bravo, first of all, for not watching it. I do this because I don't want you to do it. If you do decide to watch it, turn off your brain and forget that it's called Resident Evil. Because that is, I'm sure by now you've heard that that's exactly what the show is. The show is a total mess. And I'm on episode 7 now, and I don't understand. I don't even know what's happening anymore. They just had like this weird multiplicity fucking shift in the show, which was the weirdest thing I ever saw. No sort of suspense. There was like one moment of suspense in this show, and then it was like, and then I was like, oh, never mind. There's no point. And even like the stuff that people do in this show is so incredibly idiotic. I don't know why they like. How do you get away with writing something so bad? Bro, I just thought so. Blade doesn't come in until I think episode 7 or the end of episode 6. Dude, it's gnarly how bad it is. Like it will make you cringe like harder than you've ever cringed before. It is insane. This show belongs on the cutting room floor. It never should have seen the light of day. And the fact that Lance Reddick went along with it, the guy who plays Wesker, I cannot believe that he was like proud of this show. Then I'll paint this scene for you, right? We see Resident Evil Blade come down the stairs with his fucking flat top and his glasses and black leather. And he's around like so I'm not going to give away the scene really, but like what happens is Umbrella comes in because he's using Umbrella resources improperly. So he's standing there. They try shooting at him, but he does his fast movement thing and takes him out. And then he tries killing the other people in the room as he's leaving, but he can't shoot him. He misses and doesn't use his super fast powers to kill them. This show hurts my head so much. Dr. Reina says, oh yes, 1, doesn't fit timeline. 2, it attempts to explain after old Raccoon City while attempting to keep it to the times. It's all sorts of effed. Yeah, it's so bad, guys. Like I'm trying to process all this stuff, watch how it goes, and eventually do like a recorded video of like the whole thing. But this show does like it. the few things they put in from the game, it's so fleeting and so quick. You wonder like, why is that there? Like, there's no explanation as to why it's there. They try and make this as some like weird in between origin thing, but they're just using names as like a way to say, oh, this is Resident Evil. It is worse. It is worse than Halo. If you can imagine, it is worse than Halo at this point. It is epically bad. I can't like, and the characters aren't even good. And this is what I'll say. So the difference between something like this and something like Kenobi was bad. Like the main character, Reva, right? She was a bad actress, badly written character, and nothing worked. At least with this main character in the show, Jade, she's a good actress, but her character is so bad. The first 4 episodes of this show or no, the first 5 episodes of this show are her running away. It's her running and then running into trouble, making a dumb decision while running, and then retracing steps just to run away again. That is the first 5 episodes of the show, mixed in with some backstory you could give a shit less about. And it's all flashback scenes. Flashes back to a time trying to, I guess, explain her and her sister's upbringing, who are just twins. And we have yet to figure out who their parents are. Like it. So since if you guys don't care about spoilers, I'll just fucking spoil what's going on. So Wesker essentially is like this. So he's a clone. The person you see, not flat top blade Wesker, but the guy, the bald one who's the parents of the 2 girls, he is a clone. So in the show there was, I think, 3 others. There's 3 total. 1 gets killed. The other one's this like bumbling idiot. Again, it was like a multiplicity story. It was so bad. It was so bad. Zombie had a good description of it. I'll pull it up here. Let's see. Where is it? So Zombie said, this is Zombie's words, not mine. From what I've seen, this looks like a scrapped script from another generic zombie show that Capcom picked up for like $5 and gave it to a crackhead writer with a list of character names they wanted to see in the revisions. Yep, that's about it. 100% what that show is. It's so there's one part too. So this part like really blew my mind. So Jade, older Jade, her family is on this boat in the middle of the ocean. She acquires the head of a zombie who can talk to other zombies, and she brings it on the boat with her to test it. Why can she communicate with other zombies? Her child is also on this boat with the child's stepdad, her boy toy. They make that very clear that he is the stay-at-home dad and she is strong and goes out and does that, right? So that's how stories work. You can't have a weak woman providing for her daughter, like you should. It's got to be the beta male. So she comes back to do tests with her friend who's pregnant. They do the test. They find a way. They find this like essentially a way to keep to make them invisible to the zombies, or the zeros they call them. So she gives herself. She's able to inject. She's able to make herself invisible to this zombie, but her daughter is in the room with her, chained up to the zombies chained to the wall with straps that are broken, by the way, or worn out. Her daughter comes and is like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" The zombie freaks out, breaks out of the straps, runs after the daughter, but not before pushing Jade aside and giving her a concussion so she can't run after, a small child zombie. The zombie gets out and tackles the woman, because for convenience's sake, the pregnant woman needs to be front and center, bites her, she's dead. She brings a fucking zombie on the boat where her daughter is and a whole bunch of innocent people are. Like, there's no reason for anything that these people do. There's no reason at all. This is insane. This show... This show is freaking dumb, man. I do not understand how this became a show. How did this become a thing? How did anyone read this script and go, "Yep, this makes sense"? All of it. I understand everyone's motivations, blah, 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 blah. I don't understand one motivation in this show. So they're flashing back to a time when the 2 girls are together, the sisters are together. We finally see that the sister is alive. I don't know why she's alive. No idea. What is motivate? So the sister is a part of Umbrella. Like I can't, it's so hard to get into the details of the show because if I started telling you what was going on and then trying to relate it to what's like, you would have no fucking clue. The Billie Eilish knockoff sister, she got bit by a zombie dog, but somehow it was able to fight off the T-virus infection because she's a super clone or a super person because of whatever Wesker did, Wesker 2.0, sorry. So she doesn't get sick, but somehow she's sided now with Umbrella. The other sister, who doesn't stop saying the word fuck, is against Umbrella and trying to figure out a cure. Nothing makes sense. And if it seems like I'm jumping around and like a lot of like weird details, this is exactly how the show gives it to you. Legitimately, the first 5 episodes of this show are Jade running away from zombies. That's it. That's it. That's all that happens. And don't even get me started with what's his name, Baxter, this fat Umbrella guy who's trying to find or trying to capture Jade. He comes off as this idiot working for Umbrella, just like as, just going in a car around to every place that she has just been to get her. And then all of a sudden he becomes Rambo. What? Both sisters are gene modified. Somehow the Billy sister is resistant to the T-virus. Right. Which we likely won't understand that until the final episode. At least I haven't gotten there yet. I'm in the middle of episode 7 and it's so, I have to keep pausing it because I have to keep going like this. Like, what am I watching? Why am I doing this? Just avoid the show. What's crazy is when people defend the show while showing how goofy some of the games were, as if Master of Unlocking is the same as Zootopia. Right. So something that's always disappointed me about the shows is like what made the games terrifying to me was not only the zombies, but the resource scarcity, right? You didn't have a lot of bullets. You didn't have a lot of health to use. They don't capture that in the movies at all, or even the show. It's like unlimited amount of bullets. We have unlimited amount of resources. All we got to do is run. Like, that's not how this how this game worked. Like, sure, I guess Jade is in the out in the open and she's got limited medical supplies, but holy shit, that's about it. But everyone else has unlimited ammunition against them. Silly. These things would not actually, these zombies would not pose a threat to anyone with the amount of military firepower that these people have. Just mow them down. They're like a giant organized private security. And Jade is invincible, by the way. She does not sustain any sort of injury throughout the entire show. In the very first episode, she's pulled up in the air, probably 20 feet in the air by a giant caterpillar worm and suplexed onto the hood of a car. Her head smashes a windshield and it doesn't kill her somehow. It doesn't break her skull into 2 pieces. She jumps 3 to 4 stories onto a metal box truck. Doesn't break her legs. And not only that, she's running away from people who are going to detain her into a horde of zombies. And then she goes, "Oh shit, I fucked up." And then turns tail and runs right back to where she just jumped from. What? You mean to tell me you didn't think this through before jumping 4 stories? What? Even if the zombie horde wasn't there, how was jumping onto that giant truck? How was that even a good idea? What were you going to do? Limp away? Oh my God. So it's just bad. Yeah, but to scratch. was a great meme that they put out yesterday regarding that. It's just a flesh wound. But she avoids every bit of danger, escapes unscathed every time. There's even a part there, like they're in a sewer system, and there's a giant spider. There's a giant spider. And they run away from the spider. And then the guy that is with them is all noble. He's like, I'll go distract it. You guys run. So the guy goes out there with his giant stick pole, lures the spider away. Obviously, he gets killed. But in the meantime, they're standing there watching him get killed. Like, yo, he just sacrificed himself so you guys could run away. What are you doing? And then it's a mad scramble. Oh my God, we got to run away again. So she runs away, and somehow she discovers, as she's running down the hallway, she discovers something on the wall, a lever on the wall, prays to holy hell that it's going to actually do anything, pulls the switch, and just in time, it drops a gate on top of the spider. Thank God she was wearing her plot armor, because we wouldn't have a show anymore otherwise. Ha! It is so bad. That's my roast of the Resident Evil show. That show is awful. It deserves none of your time. And Netflix deserves like a huge L for putting this out. The actress who plays Jade is really good. I would like to see her in something that was like really meant for her to play. This was not the role for her. She's doing what she can with what she's got. And quite honestly, that's it. That's all it sucks. And Lance Reddick, who plays Wesker, like, I like him. He's a great voice actor. I liked him in Fringe. I liked him in The Wire. This is just, it's so bad. Yeah, we could do a review. It was so bad. But I have a bunch of notes on the show that I have to put into like an actual script so I can actually do like my own. I want to do my own as well. But the thing is I don't think Horror Emirata has not watched this show. I'm sure she has no plans to. But if she wants to, I definitely will. Guys, what a show. So this was all supposed to be done last night, and I was really under the weather and I couldn't do it. I just didn't have it in me. But I want to say thank you to those who continue to make the stream possible, who make the clips possible. Rock Reina has been a very, very integral part of my successes recently. Not only him, but Horror Emirata, also Sheep Obsidian and No Green Rocks. You guys have been amazing in keeping everything that I've been doing going. Everyone who shows up for these streams absolutely is an integral part of growth and support of this channel. I cannot thank you guys enough. I'm going to be doing community nights, much like a lot of the other big streamers will do it. If you are part of the, I'm starting to push out my Ko-Fi memberships a lot more. If you guys want to be a member of Ko-Fi, the link is in the description. Those who are subscribers on there will be privy to our community chats, which we're going to start off by doing once a month, and maybe gaining traction as we get more and more people. But liking the stream, sharing it with people that you like, watching the VODs, this is all of how we grow and continue to make waves. My goal is to help people, to keep the conversations moving, to draw attention to things that are problematic in the news and culture. That is what we do. Hot Cup of Culture every Tuesday night is what we're doing. Wednesday night, tonight, is the midweek hump. Please, please, please join us at 9 p.m. Mountain Time. We're speaking with Abomination AJ and Comics Division, which should be awesome. I love both of them. And I can't wait to hear what they have to say. There's a lot of good things to talk about. Some things that we talked about today. And then also also later tonight. But thank you guys again. We'll be back. We'll be live tonight here on this channel. So make sure you subscribe, get the notifications, like the streams, and I'll see you later today. Thank you. Bye-bye.